What's up guys, in today's video we're going to be talking about the top 5 best class setups to be using in Warzone updating to Season 5. Now I made a couple of these videos before in the past, and honestly this is the updated version of one of these videos. I want to give you guys the best loadouts to be using with Season 5's update, with all the patches, all the nerfs, the buffs, everything like that. These are by far the best classes to be using right now, especially if you're playing Warzone, and especially if you're trying to play to the best abilities that you can and get the most kills that you can. Before we get to that, I want you guys to subscribe if you're new around here, to drop that thumbs up in today's video, and then I want you to comment down below and tell me what you think about these class setups and if you guys are going to be trying any of them out for yourselves. But that much, once again, let's get right into this. So the first class setup that I want to give to you guys is my FAL class setup. The FAL just recently got a bunch of buffs, and it honestly just did get a nerf as well, but it also got buffed at the same time, which is a weird, honestly, I guess you would say, combination. But it's still an absolute beast to be, I'd say using in Warzone especially. On this class setup, I like to run the monolithic suppressor with the XRK marksman barrel, which is the longest barrel to be using for the FAL. And then I like to be running the commando foregrip because it's the best to be using whenever you're putting consistent shots down. I like to run the 30 round mags and the VLK optic for range, and honestly this thing is honestly a complete monster to be using in Warzone. Moving on along to my secondary weapon, I like to run the MP5, and I like to run the monolithic suppressor with the 5 milliwatt laser, with the Merc foregrip with the 45 round mags, and sleight of hand, because if you're going to be using the MP5, it's going to be close range, so you're going to be needing to reload the fastest that you can, especially in close range situations, and honestly I'd say, I don't know, sticky encounters. But anyways, moving on along to my perks, I like to run EOD, Overkill, and Amped. EOD is because everybody likes to spam C4s and all these other type of explosions in Warzone. And then Amped is because I like to run, honestly, I'd like to run and gun like crazy. I'd like to play aggressive, so I need to swap weapons as fast as I can on the fly. Moving on along to my lethals and tacticals, I like to run C4 and heartbeat sensor. That's pretty much it for the first setup. For the second one, I like to run the CR56. Now for the CR56 setup, I have the monolithic suppressor with the XRK Zodiac barrel, which is also the longest barrel to be running on the CR56. Then I like to run the commando foregrip with the 45 round mags and the VLK optic. If you guys are pretty much catching the trend, I like to run the longest barrels with the monolithics, with the longest mag, with the VLK, and with the commando. That's pretty much how it is for almost all my classes, but it does work. Trust me guys, you gotta trust the process. You gotta try these classes out, especially if you're trying to play well in Warzone. For my secondary, I have the same exact MP5 setup as I did in the first class setup, so moving on to the perks and stuff like that is the exact same as well. Moving on to my Grau setup, this is by far one of the easiest weapons to be using, especially in Season 5. They nerfed this last season in Season 4, and it really didn't change too much on the weapon. It was supposed to change, like, I guess you'd say the damage range and the recoil a little bit, but if people have been using this, especially since, the start, you can't really tell that big of a difference. So for my setup for this, I'm running the monolithic suppressor with the Tempest Archangel barrel, with the tac laser, with the commando foregrip, and the 60 round mags. You have to trust me on this. The tac laser helps a lot with ADS speed and even recoil control, in my opinion. This thing is by far one of the best setups to be using for the Grau to date. Next thing as well, everything else is the same, secondary, all that stuff, it's the same as the first setup. Trust me, I don't really change that too much because the MP5 is by far the best SMG to be using in Warzone. Now these class setups by far are for aggressive players, so if you're more of a passive player, I have another setup for you right now. Now this setup is by far, honestly, I'd say one of the aggressive passive setups that I have, but this is for the Kilo. Now for the Kilo, I like to run the monolithic suppressor with the Singard Arms 19.8 Prowler barrel, and then I put the tac laser on with the commando grip and the 60 round mags. Now if you do want to change anything on this setup to actually have more range with this, I would change the tac laser and put on the VLK optic sight. Now for my secondary, I like to run the Kar 98. Now this is by far one of the best snipers to be using in Warzone to date as of right now because of all the buffs that this weapon just recently got. Now for this weapon, I like to run the monolithic suppressor with the Singard custom 27.6 inch barrel. Now I also like to run the tac laser with the sniper scope. I'm actually about to be changing my rear grip from stippled grip tape and putting on sleight of hand because I've noticed I've been trying to reload a lot faster, especially in battle. Now for my perks, I still run the same thing, EOD, Overkill, and Amped. My number one class setup that I want to get to you guys for Warzone as of right now, the one I've actually been slaying with a lot, it's been the CR56 and then this one. For this class setup, I like to run the M4A1, which is the monolithic suppressor with the stock M16 Grenadier barrel, with the tac laser, with the Ranger foregrip, and the 60 round mags. This M4A1 setup has 0 recoil, I repeat, 0 recoil, and it's honestly a mule. This thing beats people like crazy. Trust me, try it out for yourself and tell me how it works for you down in the comments below. Everything else, all the perks, stuff like that, once again, secondary, all that stuff stays the same. This is my aggressive setups and one of my passive setups. So I hope you guys do try these out, especially if you're trying to play more aggressive or trying to get more kills in Warzone. These are going to help you out a lot. Tell me in the comments if these setups have helped you out at all, if you have tried them. I want you to return to this video and tell me in the comments down below if you have tried any of these out. Thanks so much once again. Peace.